What is biohacking? Let's talk about that, shall we? Welcome back, everyone. Today we are going to talk about biohacking. What is biohacking? Biohacking essentially means that you are drawing from various different fields like genetics, neuroscience, nutrition, physical fitness, and all these amazing fields to actually ensure you are in your most optimal health, both physical and mental well-being. And this is also called as DIY biology. So, what essentially does biohacking mean, or what are the things we can do in biohacking? It seems like such a big word. It can be anything from using very simple, like step counters, like how many steps did you take in a day, to something very extreme, like very extreme lifestyle changes, such as the one similar to Project Blueprint by Brian Johnson. So, if you don't know about that, Project Blueprint is a project done by billionaire Brian Johnson, where he essentially, his motto is "Don't die." So he is investing almost 2 million per year to kind of de-age himself, and it seems to work according to the reports he published. Please go check out his website. They have this whole website and they have made all the data very open source to see what they are doing, and it seems to work for him. But all of us are not millionaires, so what are the things, or what are the biohacking things we can do to ensure that we are in a good physical or mental health condition? Not or, and mental health condition. So let's get into it. According to this author Kian Wu of the book called Thrive State, a blueprint for optimal health, longevity, and peak performance, suggests that biohacking essentially can be divided into 4 categories, which are lifestyle, molecules, biologics, and technology. So in this, the first, lifestyle, is the one we usually always get, the usual advice we get, such as get some proper sleep, some good diet, meditation, breath work, and all that stuff. So the how to see how food affects our health over time, it's also called as nutrigenomics. It's just a word, just so you know what it is called. And then there is something, biohacking is also divided into molecules. These are basically amino acids, taking supplements, vitamins. But do they actually work? Is the real question. So let me know in the comment section if you want me to make a whole other video of how does taking supplements or amino acids, how does it have a real effect on your health over time. And the third one is a little bit more medical sort of. So this can include IV transfusion, stem cells, and everything. These are more biological, and this, since this is a bit more extreme, it might require medical approval. And the final one is a technology which we are very aware of, such as the step counters or blood sugar monitors and things like that. So biohacking is essentially divided into these main 4 categories. One of the major subdivisions of biohacking is called as cognitive biohacking. It's essentially the idea that we can influence our brain health by using appropriate interventions at appropriate times, and thereby helping us to make better connections in our brain over time. So I think it derives from the ample evidence of neuroplasticity, the neurons that fire together, wire together. So when we introduce new interventions, or when we introduce new things for our brain to do, it creates very strong neural pathways, and as a result, we have the capacity to influence our brain health. And it's not all genetics, but rather the environment and how we interact with our brain plays a very major role in our future over time, When we are talking about cognitive biohacking, one of the major things you have to know is the brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and this is very vital in learning and memory, and it also helps us to, the more we have of this, the lesser the cognitive decline essentially. So this is the number one thing you have to know about, because everything we do in the cognitive biohacking, or all the interventions, or all the things that I'm about to say right now, is essentially to kind of increase this, and also which will definitely influence how much new connections and neural pathways are made in our brain over time. So that is not one of the kind of the scientific word you have to know about. So what are the things we can do in cognitive biohacking? The number one thing is mindfulness and meditation. There is ample evidence. There's over and over the years there has been a consistent number of evidence that mindfulness definitely plays a role in our overall brain health. To cite a paper by Xiong and Doraiswamy, they basically found that mindfulness definitely helps in reducing the stress hormone called cortisol within our brain, and that over time help us to be more grounded in our decision making, and also definitely helps with cognitive decline over time. The number two thing is called as cognitive training. Cognitive training is essentially to improve your cognitive performance, and this can be very simple, such as learning a new language, socializing, playing games, small things like that, where your brain is actively occupied, can definitely help over time in cognitive decline. For example, when older adults, but I think it was a study by Tetlow and Edwards, when older adults were given cognitive training for a consistent period of time, there was increase in their attention speed and visual spatial memory. And the best part was there was a transfer of this improvement to other memory tasks also. So the whatever improvement they saw and their attention and their processing speed and everything did have an impact on their real world experiences, which means that cognitive training definitely helps with neuroplasticity, which is the new connections and neural pathways in our brain, and it also helps us to adapt to new environment and new experiences. So the first one is mindfulness and meditation, second one is cognitive training. Number three thing is using going through the technology and lot of clinical route. So basically using transcranial magnetic stimulation and neural feedback. I'll tell you what transcranial magnetic stimulation is. It's essentially using magnetic fields to stimulate nerve cells in our brain. So although there are certain studies that suggest both benefits and some suggest that there's no effect, a review conducted by McNamara and his colleagues seem to suggest that even though much better studies are required, in the right now TMS does show benefits for treating depression and anxiety and things like that. So yeah, that is a little bit more of a clinical route. But if you are going through something very emotional, or if you have depression and that seem to be drug resistant sort of, it really helps if you go through this road, such as neural feedback or TMS, or a little bit more on the neurostimulation route can also definitely help, and that is also a form of cognitive biohacking. And the final one is nootropics, or it's also called as smart drugs. So it can be anything. It can be caffeine, which we often use on a day-to-day basis just to boost some attention, or to make sure that we are active and alert, or it can be medically supervised drugs, which are usually prescribed for ADHD or anxiety or anything like that, is also nootropics. So nootropics can either be the ones that we use on a day-to-day basis, or it can be medical supervision. But the common point is that both of them are used in more of a cognitive situation, where it is used as part of cognitive biohacking. So just to summarize, there is a lot of things available for cognitive biohacking, from medically supervised drugs to neuroimaging to even simple lifestyle choices such as doing meditation for a while, or knowing that your physical health is interconnected to your mental health, and working out or going for a walk. So all these things, it is in a spectrum where doing small things will ensure that we don't have to go into the extremes of cognitive biohacking. So right now, you taking care of yourself will make sure that we don't have to go into the extreme states where we need another person's approval to do things to your own self. Get it? So get some sleep, meditate for a while, drink a lot of water, and get some really good food that nourishes not only you but also your soul. So I hope this video has been a little bit more engaging for you. I hope it was a starting point for you to know what is cognitive biohacking. And if there is anything you want to let me know, if you have any video ideas, please let me know in the comments. I love you so much.